Let's open the meeting of the New York County Council. Let's start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, everyone's here tonight, so we have a quorum. I guess I want to introduce our newest member, Dina Lewis. She last month, I guess, got committed and moved on, and so welcome tonight.
Welcome.
Glad to have you.
So I guess first, let's we've got the minutes of the September 23rd meeting of the West County Council. And when you see those, was there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
okay, Ryan has made a motion, I have a second. Meredith is seconded, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then I'll open the public hearing for the budget, for comments on the budget of Du Bois County. And that budget for 2025 would be $36,633,324. So, any comment from the public?
Any comments? You want to?
I really need more members for my organizing department.
Organizing department? Okay.
So,
You'll know the work.
Do you want me to explain the tax rates and stuff, or do you want me to?
yeah, you can do that, that'd be great.
The bottom section that I sent you is all this top, just county general, that's the only one I could give you, but the tax funds that are on the sides are the actual ones that the state looks at. They don't look at the home ruled funds, which are all the other departments, like the grants and community corrections, project income, user fee funds.
You say home rule.
They call it home ruled on the thing. I have the Form 3. Kind of show you better. When you look at it, when you look at what I've advertised, these are the counties. I got the wrong form. These are the counties. The state looks at the state funds that are tax rate and levy. It goes by your levy. Home ruled are all the funds that are outside of that we have at home, like Health First Indiana, clerk's perpetuation, pretrial diversion. I'll pass this so you guys can see it. It's all these funds that we still do the budget for, but they're at a home level, they're not at the state level.
Okay.
The state takes these funds, because they're tax rate driven, and they look at our levy and they look at our assessed value to determine a tax rate. So these are the funds that the state approves in our budget order.
Got it.
So when I do these, they always tell you to use, take your assessed value and go 2% lower. Because we're still doing deductions, we're still doing exemptions, we're still doing stuff like that, and you want to account for those. So you use a lower assessed value, and then you have a higher tax rate because of that. So when the state does your budget order, they'll use your actual assessed value, and they'll bring that tax rate down. When you advertise something, you can always go lower, you can't go higher. So this is the maximum amount of taxes on a tax rate that we can actually collect and levy. Your levy is the amount of tax you actually collect. So that's why it looks a little skewed, because if you look at last year's tax rates, they're a little lower.
Right.
These will be lowered, except for your cum cap and your cum bridge. Those are tax rate, you use actual, because those are actual rates that you've set for those cum funds. It gets a little bit,
So that's what.
so that's why you'll see a split on this, and I can show you that. So that's why on here it says home ruled funds, which is the bottom section.
Okay, so, hearing public comments, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing for Du Bois County.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion, as Dina.
I'm not used to your voice yet, I'll get used to it.
Hearing all All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then I'll open up the meeting for the solid waste district. And the 2025 budget is $389,762. So,
And they do not have a tax rate, they do not go by a levy, they're totally funded through the county.
so again, hearing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the comment period for the solid waste district.
I'll make a motion. Close.
So Ryan has made a motion.
Solid waste.
Meredith has seconded, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then I'll open up the public hearing for the Northeast DuBois School Corporation. And that 2025 budget is $13,370,491.
Now, the reason you guys have to adopt that, or you have to do anything with their budget, is because they do not have an elected school board.
So again, hearing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the comment period for the Northeast DuBois School Corporation.
I'll make a motion to close the comment period.
Okay, Meredith has made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Alex has seconded. Further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then I'll open the public comment period for the Northeast DuBois Fire District, and that is $135,300. Is there a public comment to that Northeast DuBois Fire District? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the Northeast DuBois Fire District. Okay, Dina has made a motion, Ryan has seconded. Further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then I'll open the public hearing for the Airport Authority. And that is 2025 budget is $7,045,025. Hearing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the comment period for the Airport Authority.
I'll make that motion.
Sonia has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second that.
Meredith has seconded. So further discussion, otherwise, all in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? So that closes the public comment period for the budgets of 2025. So next on our agenda is we had discussed some ARPA expenses, and again, our ARPA funds have to be obligated by the end of the year, 2024 here, and spent by the end of 2025. So I think we had talked, the auditor has, I think we talked about this last month or last meeting. She got some quotes on computers for updating, so I don't know if you have time to explain that to us.
I have 24, I have 32 computers that need to be replaced. We're starting our 5-year cycle. There's several offices that are 5 years old. Mine's one of them, treasurer's office, small claims. And then we've got some machines that need to be EMA. Then we've got some machines that need to be updated because next year you have to go to Windows 11. And we've got a few machines that can't. They don't have enough, whatever it takes. So we're going to replace 32 of them at the time right now.
Why do we have to go to Windows 11? What is it?
Windows 10 is going to go out next year.
Oh, we're going to call all the
So,
maintenance and service.
right. So a lot of our machines can be upgraded to 11 and we'll do that. Some of these older ones cannot. So, but it's after
How much
5
money's in
years.
our ARPA fund right now that we're looking at?
I think, I'm gonna give you rough numbers because I don't have an exact. I think we have about $1 million, 2 or 3 in there right now. 500 of it we had dedicated to the regional sewer district, so I don't know where that's gonna be. We've got some that's dedicated for health insurance, and then we've got a little bit.
Out of this 1.3, all that is coming off of that yet.
This all has to come out of that number. So I think we dedicated over $1 million to health insurance. So,
Yeah, okay, I was just curious, because you said the sewer district, but it doesn't seem like that we're even gonna be able to spend that in 2020.
so I think our plan was to use that money for health insurance if it doesn't go for the sewer district.
Okay, so that's our last ditch effort. If
Because I'm spending
it
between.
won't go to waste, we will spend it on healthcare.
Right. and it's,
Yeah. I think last month
transfer.
I spent $300,000 for health insurance. This month I spent $500. So, I mean, it just depends on how many claims we have coming in because we're self-insured.
But that money that was dedicated for the sewer is still dedicated.
Well, we kind of have
for the
some
moment, is
there,
what you're saying.
but if we don't use it by the end of the year, we're gonna lose it.
Right.
So we're gonna have to reallocate.
Sure.
It doesn't seem like that'd be a problem to use it though. How much are these computers, 32 computers?
This quote is $40,683.87.
And they're just, is it just the box, just the
It's-
tower?
It's the towers, and then it's the time, and it's some memory for some laptops, and then it's the professional time to set them up and get them set up on our network.
She had sent it, I discussed it, I mean, I questioned the setup time, I thought it was a little extreme, or it seemed like, and you could explain it, probably better you talk to him about.
He explained to me it takes like 2.5 hours estimated to set up each machine. From the time they unbox it, set it up, get Windows on it, get our programs on it, come up here, deliver it, test it, make sure it runs. So,
I think-
and they give it to us at a discounted rate,
Who is they?
Matrix.
I mean, I think we would be taking a risk to do that ourselves. We did
Oh,
that
yeah.
on the security center and all that, when they got new computers, I mean, we just let them quote up.
Well, in the past, I've had them use our time block, but we're getting close to being done with our time block because we're at the end of our contract. So I had them quoted on here separately
So it's,
because we only have so many hours in our time block.
Yeah, I'm just curious as in what they're getting you. I mean, did you send that? I mean, are they good? I mean, these computers, the computer life is 5 years, right?
Well, ours are lasting at least 5 because ours are 5 years old now.
But if they're getting rid of Windows 10, it doesn't seem like we have much of a choice.
No, it's a recurring revenue model.
Yeah.
They're gonna phase you out.
I know.
Right.
You ain't gonna
And
look
we do the best we can to keep, like, I think when we started, we were on a different Windows 10 and they upgraded us to the whatever Windows 10, so they keep us
Well, we can
current.
make it last for Travis.
Right, and we do keep them going.
Sandy, does anybody run county-wise that you talk to at a conference or anything like the Mac, Apple stuff? I was just curious. I don't know why you would, but it seems like it'd be. I do know security's a little better. That's the only reason I asked.
I never heard anybody on them.
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
But, I mean, all of our printers, all of our scanners,
Some
all
of
our
the printers
copiers.
don't talk as well to the
Yeah.
Mac because we have that problem.
You can patch some of the office stuff, but yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
But like I said, we're getting to that point where next year we're gonna be replacing more because everybody's at their 5th year and we're starting that cycle again. I think you get it about a year down and then you start over. But like, I had this budgeted in this year's budget, but instead of using county money, the intent is maybe to use ARPA to save us a little bit of county money.
Is Matrix the only one that we quote? I mean, is that who does it?
Well, they have the government surplus, GSA or whatever, so I mean, you're gonna get, it's just they know our stuff.
Yeah, they know it.
Yeah.
I have to comment and figure it out. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I don't, we have a choice, so that's the thing.
Wow.
well, we had so many other discussion on that, otherwise, a show of hands, who wants to use ARPA funds for this?
I think it makes sense.
So it's unanimous. Okay. And the next thing here is this solar moratorium abatement discussion. I thought we could at least discuss this tonight. I don't know if I really want to take a vote on it. I think we ought to think about it, at least let the public know what we're thinking here. I'll just start out with anyone who wants to make a comment on this. I think Alex had brought it up. originally to me, and I spoke with, and he brought some samples in here from different counties, and I got with Greg, our attorney Greg Schneer, and he wrote something up here. And I think the latest edition, I think there was one or two comments upon it, and does anybody want to speak about it, or what the thoughts are on it?
I don't have much of a problem with it. I don't know if my only thing is I don't know if we need this resolution, only for the fact that we just kind of voted it down. I think that may set a precedence that we're not really in favor of this without this ordinance. I'm afraid to have an ordinance that says no. I don't know if there's an example of where it could make sense. You know, we do this, we're out, right? I mean, we have shut it down without even hearing them, because it would be like when we said yes to one, they're all done. So I don't know that we even need a sign. I feel like we kind of just had done that when it was not approved by our tax abatement committee. Maybe there would be an example where one could be approved if it was in a different area. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if we need to do it, but that's just my thought.
I think that's what Greg was kind of talking about over at the coal mines, that land's not useful for anything. So it could possibly work over there.
A place where it makes sense, not in our backyard. Maybe we want that.
So
I just think it's not a bad idea to hear them out if they're gonna try it and it can make it to us with a favorable vote from our tax abatement committee, then it's worth hearing at least, but I see all the sides of it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the feedback I get is, if you're gonna give a tax abatement to a company, you can have the Sagers come in who are lifelong residents of this county. What's the last one we just gave, the Fisher Farms? Multi-generation residents that are connected to the community, because essentially you're subsidizing them to make the community better. And some of these solar companies are a little bit, some are more well-ran than others, and people just don't want to have their tax dollars going to subsidize the destruction of personal property, but very valuable personal property.
I think like tagging on to what Ryan was saying, is that our protection, I guess, in that the abatement committee, because we trust them to make a,
Well, they did
whatever, you know what I
they did
mean?
their job, right?
So that's the protection in it, right?
That's what I was
Would it be? I don't know.
It's another committee of 5 or 6 people
Mm-hmm.
that give their opinion and study it more.
Mhm.
But it's still the county council's responsibility. I mean, we could override that easily. So I mean, but it's 2 people, 2 committees looking at it, or 2, but we're the ultimate body.
Right.
So I mean, we would still have whatever that abatement committee would say we could override.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's a good point.
I'm not opposed to it, I just don't know if we need it.
I'm not opposed either. It's not that. Just throwing it all out there.
Hey, Doug, do you have anything?
I already said my piece.
Anybody else want to say anything?
What do you think? You got a new perspective to it. I mean, you kind of thought that was interesting when we talked to those folks after the meeting with the abatement. I mean, what do you think?
Right, and I honestly, I agree with both sides there. I'm not sure if we really need it, I'm thinking about the legal aspect, what precedents are we setting? And then I thought, well, it doesn't need to be a permanent one. Right now, we're gonna have a new Congress in the State House. We don't know what's gonna happen with our property taxes. So what does that really mean? Do we really wanna get into that at all right now? Until we know how all of that's going to settle out, what it looks like for us here. So those are my thoughts right now. I'm not anti-solar fields. I do value farmland too, and I know some of my constituents in the district feel that way also. But then people will look and say, but that's my property, and I can do with it what I want. So it's, if think we're protected by doing what you did at the last meeting and having it scored, I thought that was a very efficient process.
And they can do with it what they want, but they're just not gonna get this abatement.
Right.
So, I mean, you do with it what you want, but
Yeah, and I think what I'm hearing is just take it off our plate. We don't need to be sidelined with having that discussion. We can focus on other things. So I see both sides of the argument,
That's
trying to get to the same spot either way.
That's kind of my thought.
Good
If
point.
they're gonna be an exercise in futility to go through the process on these companies where they may have a rep from Houston, Texas, visit us once a year. I don't know what their staying power is. I think it's a little different when you have, like I said, multi-generational family businesses come. So my thinking was if we could eliminate that step, and if they're willing to make the investment without a tax incentive, I think it screens them earlier for the fact that they're wanting to truly be in the community. But the Huntingburg solar field that's going to be located by the airport was sold, and that was owned by BP Renewables, which is a very reputable company that's already in their hands. So just who are you giving the tax payment to? Even if they go through the process and you like what they have to say, is that now this guy claims they're going to always own that. So I guess we'll take them at their word. I'm more comfortable with local folks.
I agree.
I agree.
Finally,
Like you said, it kind of stops it before they.
It's an exercise of futility. What are we? There may be a one-off, but they'll be compensated if you're going to build on a coal mine that's unstable, which they may. There'll be something to compensate them for taking that risk. I don't think it needs to be Du Bois County taxpayer money reallocated for that.
Yeah, I agree.
There are federal monies too that are available to
Absolutely.
them that really,
It wouldn't be
Well,
profitable.
that's what they were talking about, all the federal money that they were getting, you know, so.
so how long would you be looking at that? If
I mean, you could sunset it whenever you want. I mean, these other counties have had no term or no expiration to maybe the one Daryl, he sent a commissioner, just said no new solar at all. Like, you can't even try to get it. That was a 1 year that I read. As far as the abatement, I guess you could do a 3-year run or if, I don't know, whatever you want to do. We're early in this, but once the panels start going up, I think you'll hear more about it. So just, that's one thing I would say when a good percentage of the acreage in the counties is covered in those things, because I don't know that they're really aesthetically pleasing, and only a few people benefit financially from them. So.
Do one of them have indefinitely on theirs, I believe?
I think you're right. I think one was no expiration unless overturned.
Is that a big deal to do if somebody would do it indefinitely and you decide,
So
the next council or whoever would decide, you know, we want to reverse that? Is
I
that-
can't imagine that it would be. Mike would know more than me or Sandy. I can't say.
I mean, my only comment besides the ones that made, you know, when EDP Renewables originally came, I looked it up. The first meeting I had, and, you know, a couple of us were called in, was June of 2022. So I'm just saying, look, it took them two and a half, 2 years and almost 2.5 years before they came in for an abatement. So I mean, to do a 12-month moratorium, I don't know if that's going to accomplish anything. We're just going to have to come back and renew that moratorium. So, I mean, I was thinking if we do it, it ought to be 18, at least 24 months. You know, I mean, if we do something like that and take our time to pass something like that. But I mean, otherwise, I agree. I had the same notes that everybody else said here tonight. So,
And I've had 3 or 4 of these groups approach me about my farm, and some of them said, when they learned that I'm on the council, they said, we don't care about abatements. We do not want zoning in the county. That's their angle. But the group that we just went through the process with said, no, absolutely, we care about abatements. So I don't know how the management runs the companies or what they're looking for, but I mean, every little bit counts. And he can say that money doesn't offset CapEx. Well, offsets operating expenses, and because you can rob Peter to pay Paul, but when you don't pay property taxes, it helps you in the long run. And you can say dollar for dollar, you get more money, but what experience and what counties have we talked to see if that's how it came out? I can pretty well assure you that Wabash is going to hire more people and inject money into the economy, but I will never, until 20 years from now, know how these multinational corporations are going to operate around here. So I'd be very cautious. I mean, we can go through it individually, I guess, if that's what you guys think, but I just feel like, we could maybe be more efficient as a county council if we didn't have to do that, so.
Well, I appreciate the comments. I think that's why I wanted to get it out there tonight. I thought maybe on the 28th we could vote on it. I think the time frame would be the other thing. Like I say, it seems 12 months is a very short period of time to do, to go through this exercise.
Did you say it was about 2.5 years?
It was June of 2022 is when they first came and talked to a few of us. I mean,
Yeah.
most of us.
So we will, I mean, almost have to go longer than 2 years.
I think I would be in favor of doing 3.
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the timeline you described.
Right.
I think that would give us the time to see how the economics are going here for the county. I think that way our taxpayers are protected because they know that we're thinking about them now.
Sure.
And,
Potential
we
state
get that
law
message out.
changes, potential changes in
Correct.
state law.
Yeah. We don't know what we don't know at this moment, but I think in another year and a half, we'll have a pretty good standing.
And that's to say that anyone else would come back and try right now.
Right.
I don't know, I have no idea, I mean, it's just,
As far as I'm aware, nobody's come to get a packet, so.
yeah, I feel like we've kind of been, they saw how it went.
But the ones that came are the farthest along. Am I not correct?
What'd you say?
The ones that came were the farthest along in their process.
Yeah.
And this is just for solar, correct?
Yeah, for industrial scale solar. I mean, some people get federal grants to put it on their roof for their business.
This is just commercial solar development in the.
I would be open either way. I'd say 3 years or we do nothing. Would be my thought, and we can think about it later. That's kind of.
I'll be gone.
You're out.
Gone.
And then the next council can vote if they want to renew it.
Well, once your moratorium ends, then you can either vote to renew or that's.
That makes sense to me.
So do we want to have it, I guess we can fill it in the way he's got it, or we can fill it in ink.
I've got the one he updated and took innkeepers out of.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing it seems like we need to do is the moratorium period. In order for us to approve it on the 28th or disapprove it, what do we want to do?
Have something to approve.
So I mean, do we want to have him fill it up for 36 months?
I have the original. I can add that, unchange this page if you want me to do that.
Then we can vote on it next meeting.
I mean, vote on approving it, I mean, we could make him fill it for
Yeah.
30. Does anybody have an objection to 36 months?
No, that makes no
Good
sense.
starter.
It's reasonable. Like you said, then if the next council builds, then
Then we could change.
Yeah.
So why don't we see a show of hands, let's change it to 36 months and then we'll vote on it on the
I think
28th.
that makes sense.
That makes sense. So it's unanimous in that respect. So that's really all for the meeting tonight. Our next meeting is on October 28th at 4:30. And since we don't have any public, we can't ask for public comments, so
We'll do that. We'll adopt the budgets first.
at the 28th meeting, right.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
we have a motion, we have a second. There is a second, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Close the meeting.
Good job. 9 minutes.
That would be a shorter meeting, Eric.
Last time it was like 2.5 hours.
Was it? You get it correct, huh?